The morning sky over Lincoln High School was painted in muted shades of gray, the kind of sky that carried with it a quiet promise of rain. The campus was alive with chatter, sneakers squeaking against polished floors, lockers slamming shut like drums in a careless orchestra. For most students, it was another ordinary day in an ordinary town. But for Aaliyah Carter, this was the beginning of something that would define her entire year. Aaliyah was tall for her age, with a strong frame shaped by years of training under her father's watchful eye. Her braids hung down neatly, and her leather jacket was worn but clean, a gift from her late father that she wore like armor. Moving from Atlanta to this quiet suburb had been hard enough. Starting at a new school, where she was the outsider both in color and in spirit, was even harder. She walked through the halls with a calm composure, but her sharp eyes missed nothing. The way students stared, the way whispers seemed to follow her like a shadow. She didn't expect kindness. She expected resistance. She always did. And that resistance had a face. Brittany Collins, the self-proclaimed queen of Lincoln High, her blonde curls bouncing as she strutted down the hallway. Flanking her were Chad, the football star who thought arrogance was charm, and Tyler, the sidekick whose laugh was always louder than necessary, even when the joke wasn't funny. Together they were predators in a jungle where popularity meant power. It didn't take long for them to notice Aaliyah. "Nice jacket," Brittany sneered, her voice dripping with sarcasm as Aaliyah opened her locker. "What thrift store did you dig that out of?" Tyler snorted, already amused. Chad leaned against a locker, eyeing her like prey. Aaliyah's response was simple. Silence. She pulled her books out calmly and walked away, not even giving them the satisfaction of a glance. That was mistake number one in their eyes. Bullies thrived on reactions, and Aaliyah's silence was gasoline on their fire. The days passed, and the taunts grew bolder. A trip to the cafeteria ended with a carton of milk spilled across her tray. Laughter echoed as she stood there, dripping milk, running across her jeans. She clenched her fists, her jaw tight, but she walked away. "Scared?" someone whispered. "She won't do anything," another voice added. And so the label stuck. Scared, weak, an easy target. But what no one at Lincoln High knew was that Aaliyah Carter had grown up in a small boxing gym her father ran back in Atlanta. She had been hitting the heavy bag since she was 9. She had sparred with men twice her size, learning how to defend, how to strike, and most importantly, how to stay disciplined. Her father's words rang in her mind every time the bullies pushed her. "You don't fight to show off, Lee. You fight when you have to. Remember, strength isn't noise, it's control." She had held on to that wisdom, but control was wearing thin. The breaking point came on a Thursday afternoon after school. The clouds finally broke open, pouring sheets of rain across the empty football field. Aaliyah, headphones in, walked near the bleachers, lost in her thoughts. That's when she heard them. "Well, well," Chad's voice cut through the rain. "If it isn't the new girl, out here all alone." Aaliyah paused, slipping her headphones off slowly. Brittany and Tyler flanked Chad, their smirks visible even through the falling rain. "You think you're too good to talk to us, huh?" Brittany snapped, her mascara already smudged from the weather. "Walking around like you own the place?" Tyler shoved her shoulder. "Say something, or are you too scared?" Aaliyah's eyes flicked from one to the other. Calm, controlled. Her voice, when it came, was low and steady. "You really don't want me to say something?" Chad laughed, stepping closer. "Oh, I think we do. Show us what you got." The shove came harder this time. Tyler's hand connected with her arm, and that was it. The last thread of patience snapped. In one swift motion, Aaliyah grabbed his wrist, twisting it behind his back with a precision that made him scream. She pushed him forward, sending him sprawling face first into the muddy ground. Chad lunged, but Aaliyah sidestepped, sweeping his legs out from under him. He crashed against the wet grass, the air whooshing from his lungs. Brittany shrieked. Chad tried again, charging like a bull. Aaliyah pivoted, grabbed his jacket, and slammed him against the metal bleachers so hard they rattled. She didn't punch wildly. Every movement was clean, controlled, disciplined. Years of training flowed through her veins. She leaned in close, her voice steady, even in the chaos. "You done?" Chad groaned, clutching his ribs. Tyler scrambled backward, fear plastered across his face. Brittany's bravado cracked, her voice trembling. "You think this makes you tough? You'll regret this." Aaliyah stepped toward her, rain dripping down her face, her braids clinging to her jacket. Her eyes were sharp, unwavering. "No. What you'll regret is thinking my silence was weakness." The bullies broke. They scattered, slipping through the rain like cowards, their power stripped away in seconds. The next morning, the story was everywhere. Whispers spread through the hallways. "She took down Chad." Tyler was crying. Brittany ran. The new black girl wasn't just new anymore. She was something else entirely. She was strength. She was discipline. She was the storm they didn't see coming. Teachers didn't believe the rumors at first. Aaliyah was quiet in class, polite, always doing her work. But the bruises on Chad's arm, the fear in Tyler's eyes, and Brittany's silence spoke louder than gossip. For the first time, people looked at Aaliyah differently. Not with pity, not with mockery, but with respect. Some were curious, others intimidated, but slowly, genuine friendships began to form. Students who had been bullied before found the courage to sit beside her at lunch. They whispered their own stories, their own fears. And Aaliyah listened. She wasn't just a fighter. She was a protector. One afternoon, weeks later, a younger freshman named Emily nervously approached her in the library. Her hands trembled as she whispered, "They pick on me too. Chad and Tyler. I don't know what to do." Aaliyah smiled gently, closing her book. "You don't have to fight like I did, but you do have to stand tall. They win if you believe." Their words. "You're stronger than you know." The girl's eyes widened. For the first time, someone believed in her. By the end of the semester, the dynamic at Lincoln High had shifted. Chad and Tyler no longer strutted through the halls with unchecked arrogance. Brittany's smirk had faded, replaced with caution. And Aaliyah? She walked through the same halls, her leather jacket still hugging her shoulders, but now with people at her side who saw her for who she truly was. Not the scared new girl, not the outsider, but the fighter. Her father's words lived within her. Strength isn't about proving yourself. It's about protecting yourself when the world won't. And in the quiet corners of Lincoln High, whispers remained. Not of fear this time, but of admiration. Because everyone knew they had picked on the wrong girl.